Hello there, YouTube. Welcome to Draco Ray Gaming. I'm Draco. Today, I'm going to guide you through Warzone streaming. That's the subject for today. Single PC, dual PC, everything I've learned, all the tips and tricks, and as usual, no BS, no fluff. Here we go. All right, here we are. Let's talk about single PC streaming first for a little bit. Warzone, if you can get it working, and you've watched some of my other videos on getting it stable, streaming it is a whole nother ball game and story. Not as easy, especially on single PC. Now, I have streamed Warzone successfully on an AMD 2700X with an RTX 2070 card. I've streamed it with a 1080 GTX 1080 card, 16 gigs of RAM as well as 32 gigs of RAM, but it is very difficult. The game is highly unstable and there's a lot of stress on your system. Now, I'd highly recommend when you are streaming this, for PC requirements, minimum of a 4-core 8-thread CPU at 4 gigs or higher, minimum of 16 gigs of RAM, recommended 32. And a GTX 1080 or above, I would recommend more. The first system that I first got this Warzone streaming stable on was a 32 gig, 3200 speed RAM system with a 2700X CPU and an RTX 2070 Super. I was able to stream fairly well, decent FPS without the stream lagging too much. But no matter what I did, even after upgrading on single PC to a 3900X and a 3070 graphics card, higher end RAM, the only difference I saw in performance really came from the CPU. After a while, the game is CPU intensive, and what you need to actually do when you're streaming it is really set your OBS settings or Streamlabs settings, your bitrate settings appropriately. 720p, 32 sampling at a somewhere around 4,000 to 6,000 bit rate. I recommend 3,000 to 4,500. It's just a lot of extra added stress and wear and tear on your system. Now, what I noticed single PC streaming, no matter what you do single PC streaming, you will get stutters on fly-ins and loading points. You will get audio issues with in-game chat, just different things. The game is not optimized at all. It is coded very poorly, and it is extremely hard to run this game unless you have, in my opinion, a super high-end Ryzen 5 series CPU, an Intel 10900K or above CPU, like very high-end fast CPUs with strong cores, lots of RAM, good graphics card, high-end system. You can single PC stream it. I was at first against kind of the dual PC streaming. I've been able to single PC stream any game, especially with some of my settings in my other videos. Now, going to the dual PC streaming, that was a whole nother ball game. And honestly, dual PC streaming on Warzone is heaven. It is flippin' bliss. I love it. It took a little getting used to, but it's absolutely fine. Let me run you through my setup and how I currently dual PC stream. If you're curious on how to do that on Warzone, I don't have any stutters on fly-ins anymore, any weird crashes. My FPS went up. It's so much more easy and manageable. If the game does dev error or crash, your stream stays up. That was one of the major issues, you know. If the game did have an issue or a crash, then you'd have to restart your stream. Not as difficult on Facebook or Twitch maybe, but definitely more things to do when going live on YouTube or Facebook. So it caused major headaches and issues. So I'm absolutely stoked. You know, if something does happen with the game, I can reboot my gaming rig while the streaming PC is still up and not have any crazy issues like that at all. So let me run through some of my setup on the dual PC streaming. If you have any questions on single PC streaming, please comment down below, as well as dual PC streaming. So right now, what you're looking at is my gaming rig, and you can see I can kind of show you some of the PC specs here. Ryzen 9 3900X 12-core processor on 32 gigs of RAM, and I'm running a GTX RTX 3070 graphics card, and I can pop that up here in my device manager. Let's see here. So you can see that there. So that's the system I'm running here on the gaming rig. It's on an NVMe SSD, water cooled. It works really well, stays cool, it's quiet. And you know, when you have the dual PC streaming, you also have to think about heat and some other things, power draw. If you got enough power outlets in your room, the power draw, the heat, everything like that. Okay, keep that in mind. So this is the system I'm running for the gaming rig, and what I'm actually running on here is literally just the game, and I'm using a Elgato HD Pro 60 Pro to capture the video and the sound over to the streaming PC. So what you're looking at is the HDMI connection here visually over to the streaming PC and the audio going through the HDMI cable, which is this. I have my PC gaming set up to come out of my headphones here, but I'd also like to shoot the audio out through my Elgato to my Elgato capture card from this system. So I'm running the Elgato sound capture software on my system that doesn't even have an Elgato card in it. I'm running this to direct the sound over to the card in the streaming rig. So pretty much I have my BattleNet, I have my Warzone here, I play it, and I'm just shooting the video and audio through HDMI cable over to the streaming rig. Now let me show you what I'm talking about with the streaming rig. What makes it kind of convenient is I have a wireless mouse and keyboard for the streaming rig, and I just keep the other mouse kind of nearby my other gaming mouse. I'm going to look at my other screen I have here for my streaming PC. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to click off the Elgato game capture that I was showing you on my gaming rig. So I turned off that connection. Now we're looking at my streaming PC. This is where you can obviously see I have Streamlabs running. You can see my microphone volume meter going up and down. So this on the streaming PC, what I'd like to show you, yes, I have Streamlabs running as one item. Another thing I'm running is the Stream Deck. So I have my Stream Deck software running as well and controlling that via that. I also have this microphone going over there and is being controlled there, audio levels, everything like that. My voice modulator, any other things that I want to run in the background, my microphone filters, I'm running a crisp microphone filter, and a Elgato sound captures here but not running, and that's pretty much what I'm running on this end. So I'm running a separate mouse and keyboard, microphone, Stream Deck, Streamlabs, and any other filters for my voice and this microphone are all running off the streaming PC. And I literally just have an HDMI connection going from the streaming PC here over to the gaming PC and running the sound capture software to point where I want my audio sources to be heard or sent. And it's really the most simplest basic setup that you can actually do. So again, gaming rig, here's my streaming PC, and on this PC I think let's see what I'm running here for CPU and memory. I'm running on Windows 7 kind of skin there, so not to confuse you, but Ryzen 7 3700X 8-core 16 thread, 16 gigs of RAM, and you don't really have to worry about the graphics card too much. I was running a Quadro K600 cheap card. You can run the onboard integrated video, or you can run a graphics card, because I'm actually getting much better video quality running 264 encoding in Streamlabs than using the NVENC. The NVENC's definitely gotten better on the RTX cards. You can use either one, but if you want to save money, you can just do the CPU 264 encoding on the streaming PC, utilize that CPU power over there. I put a decent CPU in there, and you're good to go. And it is the most pleasant experience streaming Warzone when you launch it. We can launch it right here, and I'll show you. There's no stutters. Check out my live streams. It runs extremely smooth. And again, if the game crashes or the gaming rig goes down or needs to reboot, your stream is still live on the other streaming PC. It's absolutely fantastic. So we're gonna launch up Warzone right here. Get inside, and I'll show you. Normally on load in, right after this load drive, like right here, my computer and my stream would skip a little bit on single PC. It would skip here. It would skip if it was loading shaders. It'll skip on the fly-in intro when you're actually going into Verdansk or Rebirth Island sometimes. So it's been an absolute blessing. And having the two separate internet connections wired coming out of the systems, if you can do it, is phenomenal. Everything runs smoother, and you get used to having maybe an extra mouse or something, and you know, a monitor, an extra heat is something to think about, like I said, as well as having the extra monitor or mouse and keyboard for it and the hardware. But man, if you can get it up and running for Warzone, it is absolutely the best setup I think you can possibly have. Is a nice, decent, basic dual PC setup, and you can make it happen with a second PC, an HD60 Pro card, and just making sure everything's wired and correctly. And it's really not not that difficult to set up. You can keep a basic setup and do phenomenal in Warzone with a dual PC setup. And you can also get away with single PC. But remember, game crashes, things like that. For me, it's just worth it to go dual PC now. Warzone is a game I like enough, despite all the hacking and issues, that I decided to invest in it. And I love streaming it and playing with my friends. It just brings it's got its issues, but doesn't every game and family. And I really hope they keep developing this into what it can be one day. So you can see it's just running smooth. It's running great. If anything happens to the gaming PC, oh gosh, I got a blue screen or anything, it doesn't matter. I can just close, this PC that say the game dev errors. It's not an issue whatsoever. If this PC needs to restart or reboot, it doesn't affect my stream at all. This PC is rebooting. I can go to this screen, and we can let that PC do its thing. If there's an issue with Warzone, keep the stream up and running, have some good chats in the stream, and be good to go. So thank you guys so much for checking out this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, support this channel. I'm always trying to make helpful videos for you guys. I love playing games as well. We live stream on Thursdays and Saturdays. I'm Draco, and I'm out of here.